Welcome to the Big Biz Show. Taking care of business. You want fast-talking, hard-hitting discussions on business and finance? Maybe with a barroom slant and some really salty peanuts? We're not counting calories. We're counting cash. Before we get to the man with the financial plan, meet the money team. Costa, Mary, now Captain Finance himself, Sully.
Wherever you're watching, wherever you are listening, we welcome you to the Big Biz Show inside the Loft 100 studio. A very special edition of the Big Biz Show tonight, but doesn't matter when we film this.
No, it does. It really does.
As we like to say around these parks.
A big old howdy to you.
Nailed it.
We should have talked
That is the day Trader Quattro, best band in the business. I'm still talking, excuse me. That is them back here at the bar. It's Costa, it's Marybert Godwin, and of course, Sully.
Good to see you, Long. You are, your outline shrinking.
Yes.
What are you doing?
Is this because of Vivos?
Vivos and just not eating like past 8 o'clock and not going.
Morning?
Are you doing intermittent fasting?
No, not really. Okay. Just not going to bed like burrito smashed on my face at midnight.
You're saying that like that's a bad thing.
It's not a bad thing.
And if you're in college, like many of our audiences, you go to bed with burritos on your face. Usually Friday nights and Saturday nights.
Do it just like that.
Or Tuesday
Absolutely.
when you went to Santa Barbara, like me.
This is a good time for you because you're surrounded with college students.
I know it's really making me think of my daughter who just left for college. Freaking out.
We have
trying not to break down and cry right now.
One of our special guests been on the air with us for maybe a dozen years. Dan Negroni wrote the book Chasing Relevance. He started out on the show as a millennial expert. Then the millennials got older. Then we had Gen Y, Gen Z, and now he's starting over again.
Yep.
But he is now a college professor. Not to mention he's the best-looking grandfather of the planet. But he brought his class from Cal State San Marcos. Hey, let's go right to our lead analyst here. Speaking of past college kids in New York City, look, we got Howie Font live from New York City.
How's the hair today?
He's still awake?
Yeah.
Big hair or
it's big.
Good.
Oh, I love it.
Man on the
Hello. Look at that peak.
Howie, as you know, we've got Dan Negroni, author of Chasing Relevance, of course, chief, can I call him chief vibe officer of Launchbox 360? CEO coach, but he's got his class in here as a professor at Cal State San Marcos. I know that you were looking forward to this program today because you wanted to talk a little bit about what's going on with the government shutdown. We had today's episode of Donald Trump, I think is what we have to call it. We're a few days into a government shutdown. All I care about is the SEC and the IRS. Are they still alive?
Yeah, no doubt.
Unfortunately, those never turn off. Yeah.
No.
Law enforcement action and collecting government revenue is, a passive system as far as the federal government's funding mechanisms are concerned. But let me just say, first of all, Mike, you're asking them to narc on TV? Is that what you just did with the drinking comment? I mean, come on.
Not at all.
We don't cover our cups on TV.
And by the way, he meant juice, everyone, especially ratings agencies for
grape juice.
Before we start this, let me ask you something and this is not just for our live audience, but for everybody across the country and across the world that listens to us and watch us every day. I got to ask, we kick this can down the road every year, Howie, with continuing resolution to keep the government open, and every year So it seems like just like the Great Recession, we didn't learn a thing because now we're doing stated income loans again for mortgages. What's happening now again? Is there any teeth to this? The good news is it's October. The bad news is they're going to kick it to December. It's going to happen again in December, correct?
Yeah, I mean that's the goal. The government legislative appropriations process actually works pretty well. There's strong bonds of tradition and norms and rules that the committees go through in both houses of Congress. But what happened here is they just ran out of time. Okay, it's very normal. There were 13 continuing resolutions in the last presidential administration, in the Biden administration. And there's just no trust left between a couple of the parties that have the leverage. And when the breakdown of Congress is so thin between Republican and Democrat, there's it only takes a couple of Congress people, in this case a couple senators, to stop the government from
Any advice for these kids before you take off there? Good looking.
Study hard, party hard.
Study hard, party hard.
He is Howie Font. He is our Big Biz Show market analyst. He joins us every episode. All right, lots more to come. Do not go anywhere. Big Biz Show right after this. Top 100 Studios. Always appreciate everybody being along for the ride. Those gentlemen on stage, Dave, Trader Quattro, best in the business, no lessons, self-taught. Back here at the bar, it's Costa, Mary Godwin, and Sully.
There we go. Look who's here. Dan.
We love Dan.
Where's his book? Is his book around here? I left his book in here.
You know, I was supposed to have his book in my hand. That's on me.
They're here, so that was just.
How does this feel? Does this feel normal to you?
It feels awesome. Well, it feels normal to me.
Yeah, because
I'm here with you guys all the time. But yes,
Your two worlds are colliding.
yes, right now.
I was
in real
afraid
time.
of my professors.
Big time.
You know, except for that one.
They're afraid of me.
No, they're not.
They're afraid I'm going to call on them.
They are not. But everybody's engaged, actually listening. It's a whole different. It's a whole different deal from college when they used to whip us back in the day. The name of the class is Business Law 202.
Yes.
All right.
-03.
-03.
Yeah.
And so these folks here are well on their way through the education process.
They're sophomores in college.
Okay.
Most of them.
And they've made a decision. When you decided to take this class, was it because you want to learn about business or business law or the whole thing? You just didn't know? Because I've seen business law, man. I would I'm going the other way. You know, it seems.
I think it's a good question. I can't answer it.
Why did you guys
Where's
pick
the mic?
Yeah, pick someone.
Where's the mic?
Can someone tell us why?
Adrian, why? Where's the mic?
Yeah, Adrian.
Jason.
Yo, Adrian. Why did you pick this class? Good. It's good. We'll pick it up.
Well, one, it's a required course.
Ask and answer.
All right, who's next?
Ask and answer. It's a required course, but also, what other reason? Go ahead. Let me turn you. Let me put the mic. There you go. No, you're.
At least for me, I don't quite know what I want to do in my profession, so I want to explore all of business.
Good for you. You know, can I say you should? I don't want to get in your way, but you shouldn't know what you want to do as a sophomore.
You're not getting in my way.
You know,
I
remember pacing the floor in college. What am I going to do? I figured it out about 6 weeks ago, by the way.
I was going to say, I still don't know.
Yeah.
Hey, let's get on to our next guest, because this is one I think that's going to be interesting for everybody. Before we get, and Dan's going to tell you, we got a lot of great stuff from Dan tonight. Stuff that you've talked about in the program a number of times that our audience across the country and across the world have sent emails about. And now suddenly we're talking about business ethics and leadership and decision making and such tonight. And that's actually, it'll be great for our audience and also for you guys too. But in the meantime, though, we get to talk about social media, because what's the big news today, man?
Well, by the time this airs, it might be old news, but in a few hours, my clock's about to go off. That Taylor Swift's new album is going.
And joining us right now is Corey Perlman, social media keynote speaker, owner of Impact Social Media. One of our favorite guests, by the way.
Yeah. Good to see. Hey, Corey.
Mayor, did I talk over you? I'm so sorry.
Oh, yeah.
Corey.
I'm speaking.
This is, I got a question for you, buddy, because I don't see as a imbiber in social media. And when I imbibe in social media, it's about the 3 seconds right before I fall asleep. And I ask what Mary put on social media on the show, because I don't do it. But is something like a Taylor Swift moment, is this a big deal for social media influencers and advertisers, regardless?
It's everywhere.
If their followers follow or not, is this a big deal regardless? I mean, is this an iconic moment? Or because I'm not seeing a bunch of tweets about the government shutdown.
No, the whole feeds are orange and teal. It's probably just my feed.
What's orange and teal? That's the goal.
That's the colors of the new album. So brands like Poppy and all sorts of big brands. You're seeing this, right, Corey?
Mike, what's orange and teal?
First of all,
Denver Broncos.
See, look at these.
I see you all have company there, so it's nice to see a big crowd in there. Very cool.
Dr. Dan has his class here from Cal State San Marcos, Business Law 202-3-1A6.
They probably know more about this answer than I do, so I will say that there's no doubt about that. But yes, it's big news this evening.
Talk about this Tampa thing. Have you seen what the Tampa Airport did? Have you seen the Tampa tweet?
I saw it, yes. So I want to hear you talk about
what happened. Set the stage for the folks who didn't see it.
I wanted to bring a little light into this conversation, but it's a pretty boring channel, which is airports, and yet Tampa Airport is killing it on social. And just as an example, they have double the amount of Instagram followers than my home city of Atlanta, the busiest airport in the world. And it's because they're having like a brash tone, like they're having fun. They're kind of poking fun at people and travelers, and it's working. The engagement's crushing right now.
So, Corey, I mean, are they doing like, the shoppers of Walmart and posting pictures like that, or is it? I mean, are they taking digs?
That is funny.
they're kind of messing with people. Like in this example, they told their travelers that they can't wear Crocs, that they banned Crocs.
That should be a law anyway.
Yeah, and they let people, play into it for a while and freak out, as the internet, of course, will.
Yeah.
And the guy lets it happen, and he'll comment back and forth. But there'll be a tiny little asterisk that'll, basically say that they're just messing. And they also compete with the Orlando airport, so they'll talk smack to the Orlando airport. Here's another one where better make sure you stand right in front of the boarding zone in case Zone 12 is called 1.
Oh my God.
Wait, I want to ask, did the social media marketer for Crocs actually reply to? Because that would have taken it to the next level, and then the two of them having a fun banter.
But that's the thing, because that would have benefited Crocs, right?
Like Wendy's and whatever.
Because not much will benefit Crocs, I can tell you that.
Exactly, and that's a great point. I don't know the answer to that, but if they did, that would have been a double win. But yeah, you got to be a little irreverent to stop the scroll. And I'm just kudos to the Tampa Airport. Shout out to their social media marketer for having a little fun, poking the travelers a little bit and letting everybody kind of have a laugh.
Here's what is frightening to me. It's frightening to me. There's 121 replies on this post, which means there's 121 people following the Tampa Airport.
Yes.
Well, they might not be following them. Hold on, this is actually a big subject, because now the algorithm, you get like 2 posts of people that you follow and then 3 posts
wait.
of suggested
You were talking
posts.
a whole other language. What does that mean?
Yeah.
The algorithm, Meta, will serve you posts of people you don't follow that they think you're going to like.
Okay.
So maybe you might get 2 posts in a row of people that you follow.
That scares me worse.
Right.
If I'm there, if you're serving me up Tampa Airport, like, hey, buddy, you need a life. Here, I know that you'll like this.
Because all these people think it's funny. So based on your likes and things that you think are funny, Meta knows what you think is funny, so they're going to put it in your feed. There's so many people I comment on and like their posts. I don't even follow them. Is that like with you guys?
Somebody give me a length of rope. If San Diego International Airport serves me up a post because they think I'm going to like it, bring it here.
Yeah.
Corey, the only thing I would, if I'm going to push back on it, is what if something like really, really serious happens at Tampa?
I'm glad you said that.
In Crocs?
Well, maybe, a terrorist in Crocs or something, and people are like, oh my God, you
By
guys
the way, that's the new band name. Terrorist in
Crocs.
Crocs. ladies and gentlemen.
That's great.
But it begs the question,
That's going to beat out Taylor Swift for sure. That's a great question, Mike. And they do a good job of putting their serious hat on when they need to.
Okay.
And they're very clear when something is going on that needs to be serious. So they do a nice job of pivoting when they need to pivot, for sure.
Corey Perlman, a social media keynote speaker, his
Thanks, buddy.
owner of Impact Social Media, CoreyPerlman.com, ImpactSocialMedia.com. Corey, thank you.
I will tell you, you can avoid wearing Crocs at all. I think people have Crocs just to go to the airport. I really do. But if you just get a known traveler number, a KTN number, just go to TSA.
No, we're taking off the Crocs.
No, we're taking off.
You don't have to take your shoes off anymore.
No, but you have to take your pants off, Mary, which is kind of weird. Same thing happened to the dentist. I can't figure that out either. That's a weird one. Dan Negroni is here, of course, CEO, coach, consultant, chief launch officer of Launchbox 360. He is the author of this book, Chasing Relevance, which now, for your class, you need to understand, he didn't want to say this to you, but you're now required to purchase this today before you leave. He'll be at the door.
There should be free copies under their chair, like an Oprah show.
Great to have you, buddy. And I know Dan personally for many, many years. Dan saved my life in a number of ways. And I'm not kidding when I say that. But one of the things I remember in all the hundreds and thousands of miles that we've ridden bicycles together and worked out together is when you had a heart for this before our kids were really in that space where they were asking those types of questions. So I'm going to do Q&A with you first. And if you guys have any questions, now's your time. I'm going to take a couple minutes.
Where's that?
What made you, I forget, when we were, I remember where we were riding between Leucadia Boulevard and La Casa Avenue on the 101 going north. And I remember specifically you telling me about this idea. I can't remember
how you kind of got tired of working with certain types of people.
Yeah.
And so I said, hey, I'm going to figure out how to connect the generations because my kids were just graduating college and I wanted them to get jobs. Right. So I figured I needed to figure out what the answer was to bridge the gap between the generations.
Because by type you meant younger.
Yeah.
Of a
pliable brains still.
A different generation. And so actually you convinced me to write the book.
Well,
you got to write a book. You got to write a
book.
Well, you got to write a book.
And I'll tell you the biggest part about him, but I'll tell you right after you come after this break right here. Dan Negroni is his name. Dan, I'm a grandfather. Because he is the professor of business law at School of 2.658 or Cal State San Marcos, the CSU college system. But great to have you guys on. Yeah,
Welcome to Loft 100 Studios, San Diego's Emmy Award-winning production studio, creative hub, and unique private or corporate event space. Host your next corporate or special event in our spacious main room. Utilize a green screen or our 3 million LED lights video wall to create the newest upcoming sales video, or record that podcast or YouTube show that you've been wanting to make happen. Take your creative endeavor to the next level at Loft 100 Studios. Scan the QR code or go to loft100studios.com to book a tour.
Big Biz Show rolls on live to the Loft 100 Studios in Southern California. Of course, that's a Day Trader Quattro back here at the bar. It's Costa, Robert Godwin, Sully, and our special guest, Mr. Dan Negroni.
give a big hand. We are brought to you by Prudential. Let Prudential be your rock for retirement. Also brought to you by Mayor Advance. Better science, better results. Starbucks coffee. I'm hopped up on some right now. Mike snorted some before the show. Of course, Bloomin' Brands, their fine family of restaurants, including Fleming Steakhouse and Outback Steakhouse with its authentic Australian food, because the bloomin' onion grows on the side of the road in all roads leading to Perth. Not to forget Taylor Guitars. Great to have you on today. Dan Negroni in studio, author of the book Chasing Relevance. My question to you, I remember writing, is you know what put you over there? You started talking about this because you said something that's still ingrained in me. I don't know if I ever get this right, and you know what I'm about to say. You were on the air with me 10 years ago, maybe,
yeah.
And you said 75% of the workforce in the next 5 years is going to be millennial, and 75% of your customers are going to be millennial.
Yeah.
And at the time, millennials seem old to the Gen Xers and Gen Zers now.
But at the time,
it was, you know, oh my goodness, the old corporate staunch America is going to have to deal with this, and they're going to have to deal with the existing corporate structure. And that confluence and that on-ramp, off-ramp sort of thing that happened was what really kind of moved you in the right direction.
Yeah, I mean, trying to bridge the gap between generations is always a challenge. It's been a challenge since the beginning of time. Socrates complained about Plato, you know, so this has been going on forever, and young is young. Young is young.
It is, it's true. Right. But the thing is, Dan, and this
Wait, Dan, I got a question. Is this Gen Z right here?
Yes.
You guys Gen Z?
What are you guys going to call the next one? Do you guys have a thing?
No,
they're alpha.
Alpha.
They're alpha, I think.
This whole thing is about business survival from the very beginning, right?
I think it's about, yes, personal and professional survival and business and profitability, and certainly in the business school, it's something we need to be concerned about, right?
So
how we make a living.
So let's talk about ethics, because I think that's the first thing you have to talk about in business survival, is it not?
I mean, that's today's lesson, folks, which is, business ethics. And so, I mean, we have the audience here, they've prepared, so they've all come voluntarily, and so we can ask them whatever they think and whatever they know. I mean, we can first ask them, what is business ethics?
Yeah, I think that's, because when I think of business ethics, I think that it's the thing that you shouldn't have to think about in business. It's the thing that should be nascent to everyone.
I love that you said that, because we're having a lot of fun here. We're making jokes, but the truth is, having a system of principles and valued behaviors that measure our conduct with other humans, from a business to a consumer or between two businesses, is probably the most important thing.
I can't tell you how many times I've said before executing an agreement, hey, in the name of good business, let's bring this thing all the way to the goal line, because in the name of good business is what it's all about, right?
Yeah.
And we're putting together an agreement in the name of good business.
Yeah.
It's never just in case.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah.
But in the name of good business should follow something to the tune of, I shouldn't have to think about. I have this saying that says that when you're selling something, you're manipulating, but you're manipulating for good. And manipulating is such a horrible word to say, but if both sides win, in my opinion, he's manipulating me on price.
Yeah, maybe we could call it collaboration.
Collaboration, right. But we're collaborating for good, though.
Yeah.
At the same time. But I'm not collaborating for bad. I'm not Snidely Whiplash trying to get you. Yeah. And so there's some people like that. But is there a pervasive thought? Because I know with you are got a good detector. You do. and you have the gift of discernment. I sort of ready, shoot, aim a little bit when it comes to that stuff.
No, not you.
Is there a general feeling that businesses are treating you right when you go out there? Or is there general caution?
I think that's a much easier question than the definition, Bella.
There's definitely caution nowadays because it's really easy for you to support a business that's not doing good for either the environment or society as a whole. And you don't want to support people like that, especially in today's day and age.
Are you suspect of the people you do business with at first, or you give them a chance? You give them enough rope to hang themselves, or in other words, with it
trust first or after?
I'd say do your research first before you put your money or your time into a company.
And that's a generational thing. Yeah.
What about? I tend to kind of doubt who I'm dealing with. A lot of times if I'll get a phone call or an email, my first thing is,
hey Mary, it's Sully. Really? What's your last four? What's the last four of your social?
Yeah, but I mean, when I see something come through, my first thought is to doubt it. And they're just trying to sell me on something. They're just trying to, it's a scam or whatever. That's my first thought because there is so much with AI and whatnot going on. So is that what you guys are feeling as well?
Round of applause for if that is what you feel.
No.
Yeah.
All right, permission to address the jury. Who works here while they're going to school? Raise your hand.
Yeah.
Okay.
Almost all of them.
No. For most of you, the place where you work, and it doesn't matter where you work, do you feel like I'm giving them my all because they are giving me my all? They're kind of like that symbiotic relationship and I guess respect and ethics.
Yeah, who feels that way? Show of hands or clapping?
Wow.
Wow, look at the difference, right?
Holy cow.
Between they work. I have to say something, though, about this group in this school, that it is super unique in this particular college that these kids are putting themselves through college. They work and go to school, and it's super refreshing. Refreshing.
Because I remember I worked at Price Club, which is now called Costco,
right?
When I was in college. And I remember I was one of the few. A lot of folks did, but I think it seems like it's the norm now. I have another question, because when we were in college, and even, when we were young adults, you didn't see the crime coming at you, like in the email scam that's coming at you, or your mom calling you asking if you're actually in Costa Rica because they just got an email saying that you needed $5,000. Is the cyber crime more relevant to your decision making in terms of who to conduct? Has that jaded you guys on conducting business? Because for me, it's ruined it for me doing any business online. Where because of the fact it doesn't ruin my business, it doesn't ruin any decision making for if I'm going to buy a car, I'm going to buy a house, but it does ruin it for me on anything online. Does it affect you guys cross?
Okay.
Adrian.
I don't think for us it's ruined it, just because we've gotten so used to it and we've grown up with it that we're kind of acclimated towards it, so we can pretty easily detect when it's a scam or there's something unlikely going on. So I don't think it's ruined for us. It hasn't ruined it for me at all.
I feel like you guys are probably smarter and quicker at judging that than we are.
Amen.
Right?
Yeah. Yes.
See, because it comes to the point where, I know my kids are, in 29 and 30, and it comes to the point where I'm asking them now about, hey, is this thing that says that I got to pay money to get the computer thing? I'm finding that. Are you guys finding that there's, would we be stupid to give our credit card to Uber? Are we stupid to put our credit card online? Are we stupid to use our own email? I mean, what's a pervasive thought in doing business that you guys know that we don't know? Anybody?
She laughed because I think she thinks we're stupid, right?
And just in general.
Madeline.
Come on.
You want to answer it?
I think there's some scams I just think it's I don't really his point was said that we kind of grew up with it. I kind of know the text messages, if it doesn't have an area code, it's obviously a scam, or like you said, my parents fall for the same things and stuff. And but my brothers knows all this stuff.
She's
He's
out of here.
23 as well.
It's true though.
We kind of do know now that phone calls, it says spam risk on top of it.
But as far as ordering on Amazon or Uber Eats or DoorDash or something, you don't even think about it, right? You just place the order.
What stuff is your parents are doing that you would never do? And which I would assume is stuff that we're doing anyway.
My parents do with sending money, we have Zelle and Venmo and all those things.
Is that something you trust?
honestly, I do trust it, unfortunately, but there's many times I've heard that there's like credit card scams, people have found your stuff, all this stuff.
Do they still send you checks?
Yeah, they send like everything. My mom, like, she's Zelle and credit card.
I just got a check from my father who's 93, and it says in the subject line, that too, it says deposit ASAP in the subject line.
Welcome to Loft 100 Studios, San Diego's Emmy award-winning production studio, creative hub, and unique private or corporate event space. Host your next corporate or special event in our spacious main room. Utilize a green screen or our 3 million LED lights video wall to create the newest upcoming sales video, or record that podcast or YouTube show that you've been wanting to make happen. Take your creative endeavor to the next level at Loft 100 Studios. Scan the QR code or go to loft100studios.com to book a tour.
Over 175 countries and all the ships at sea. You can hear us and see us on the American Forces Radio Network. As always, a special shout out to the brave men and women of our United States Armed Forces, what they do, what they've done for us. Dave Trader Quattro on stage, Costa, Bearber Godwin, and Sully back here at the bar today.
Of course, let's not forget, Armed Forces Radio Television Services, but BizTV, American Life Network, Bloomberg, and everywhere you have podcasting, or that vodcasting, as they used to say back in the 80s. They can have. I got a question for you. You guys first.
Okay.
What was the number in college when you were about to graduate? What you thought your first salary? What was that? I remember mine. I wanted 50 grand a year. That was the number. Was that the number for you?
Yeah, 50 was.
What were you? You're a little younger.
Job. I don't think I even asked. I started
well,
free.
I went to law school and my number was 100.
Yeah, because you're post.
Coming out of law school,
so my question for you, do you guys have in mind what your guys' number is? Like, is there something, have you even thought about what the number's going to be when you get out? I mean, I want to make this much money.
Josh.
We got one in the back.
Yeah, Josh, what do you think? How much dough? Does it matter?
Same as Professor Dan.
Okay, 100, is 100 the starting spot?
I'd like to be there when I get out of college.
But perception-wise, is 100 about is equal? Because 50K back in 83 when I graduated, 1883, 1983 when I graduated, 50 grand was like
a lot.
That was a lot of money.
Yeah.
Is 100 grand considered a lot of money these days, or is that just considered getting by, or depends on where you're going to live?
In California, I know that's getting by. So, I mean, if you could have a remote job that was in California and you lived in Arizona, you'd probably be making as much, like, with purchasing power that Professor Dan would have had back then.
In 1987.
Yeah.
Purchasing power.
Josh, you want to stay in San Diego and Southern California and work, or?
I don't know yet, in all honesty.
Good for you. Yeah. Does anybody, this is the only follow-up question is, do you guys ever think about benefits? Do you guys understand what benefits are? There's the health and stuff. Is that, because I didn't even know how to spell benefit, which is probably the reason I only made 30 grand when I got. But the point is, I mean, is that something you guys consider? Is it benefits when you're?
How many consider benefits?
I never thought about it until my third job.
Yeah.
I didn't even know what that meant at my first job.
Well, because mom and dad paid for health. You're always on your parents' health.
I remember graduation.
Health care.
Graduation from college was, congratulations, son, you did it. Oh, by the way, you're off payroll.
Yeah, exactly.
Go get something with benefits.
Yeah.
So,
you had a question?
I had a question. Yes. So, with AI and how AI is booming now, how does that, are you thinking, okay, I need to start learning how to use AI for benefits for my job? Are you worried that whatever you were thinking of going into it might affect, like maybe that job's not even going to be there in 4 years when I graduate? How is it affecting you? Is it scary or is it something exciting and you're looking forward to it? Right back here in the hat.
I'm honestly getting ready to work with AI. I think if you look at AI as being scary in the future, you're kind of just doing yourself a disadvantage. I think eventually everyone is going to need to work with AI, and it's just going to become integrated into part of everyday life.
We were saying that same sentence. I'm not kidding. I'm not being glib here. We're saying the same sentence about computers.
Yeah.
Honest to goodness.
Right.
We were saying these computer things that we're seeing, because we didn't have
company Apple before. It's awesome.
It was like this. It wasn't there though.
Yeah. Well, I tell them no boss is ever going to say to you, "Don't use AI to give me better."
Right.
Or give me better results. And so lean in, figure it out. It is the secret.
Yeah. Cool.
The other thing I was thinking is that when we were in college, and the difference is, because you're talking about, again, we're the same question you and I had when we were riding bikes million years ago. You got the people that are here, the people that are coming up, going to run the place in a minute. I remember part of that 50K is I wanted to own a home. And I remember my girls going through the Great Recession, didn't really and don't really until just now had the desire to go buy home. Is home ownership a goal for you folks when you get it? Is that
Show of hands. Who wants to own a home?
Yeah, that's good to know, because there's only two paths to wealth in this country, and I'm not kidding when I say this. You can own real estate, or you can own a business. Now, owning a business doesn't mean owning a small business. You have to own a dry cleaner. You have to own a deli. You don't have to be a private practice attorney. If you own stock, you're owning a piece of a business. It's the same thing. I own equities and real estate, and a lot of people own both. But there really is only two paths. I'm so encouraged to hear that real estate's still on the table.
And what about stock market? Like Howie was talking about Robinhood, and I think that's a big thing. So people are nodding their heads. Do some of you already invest? Are some of you learning about that already? A show of hands. Who does?
Who invests? Yeah.
Cool. Wow. Awesome.
Who is saving money? Who's working each paycheck?
Oh my God,
doesn't
I
matter.
love that.
Doesn't matter if it's $5 or $500. You guys are all saving. Is it hard not to spend it? No, be honest. Hey, because I get money and I'm like, oh God, I want to buy that.
Is it like Starbucks and Dutch Bros? Is it things that come in your
Dutch Bros?
Dutch Bros.
Is that what all the kids
You guys know. Yeah.
Dutch Bros,
I
man.
don't know.
Dutch Bros.
What's a Dutch Bro?
I've got. I'm so encouraged though that you saving money is now. Do you remember what we call the Great Recession? Were you old enough to recall that when the stock market crashed because of the mortgage crisis?
Probably 7.
7 or 8. Do you recall times changing at home? Was you too young for that?
2 years old.
Yeah, makes sense. Because look, there's certain times in this country where you see economic prosperity, and you can see it throughout history. It does, and really, it's not really a politically based thing. It's really a timeline based thing. And we were in a really big period of prosperity. Right around the time that the market, again dropped like Dick Cheney's hunting partner, and it was.
They don't get that.
Who's Dick Cheney?
We're going to talk to our audience at some point. But at the bottom line was we saw a lot of behavior change in the way we handle our own money and the way the children that were brought up were taught about money.
Yeah.
Because I think those of us that were growing up in the 80s. The age of excess in the 90s, we weren't taught about saving money. We were not taught about money and investing.
Who can put something in their cart and then say, you know what, I shouldn't be buying that.
Nobody on this set.
No one here.
Oh, we got
and just go, I should be doing that, and I'll take it out. Or just leave it there, but no, I'm not going to hit.
Yeah.
You guys can do that?
Who of you can write a check? About half of you.
I got another question. So speaking of adding things to your cart, they can follow you, right, with your behaviors. Do you guys click the thing that says don't track me, or do you like being served by brands, ads by brands, because they have seen what's in your cart and you want to get more of the same thing? Does it annoy you if they track you, or are you cool with like them knowing what you do because you want to get served ads of things that you like? Right here. Where's that mic?
Tatiana.
Oh, go ahead and grab it.
No worries. I would say that I feel like I personally hit don't track just because there's so much that I don't know about, like what they're going to track, what data they have access to. And I feel like kind of in recent times, especially with AI, like privacy is kind of a big issue. And because again, I don't know a lot about it, I choose not to risk it, and I hit don't track.
Will you make a purchasing decision based upon the ethics of a company?
How many of you even inquire? Right?
Yeah, I mean, let's say you're not a big. Let's say you're a vegan. Okay, just because let's say you think animals are friends and not to be eaten.
Right.
However, you really love that purse. And that purse is not made out of
made out of leather.
It's not made of Beyond Meat. It's made out of leather.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I'm sure that's a horrible. Being analogous probably in a horrible way here. But what I'm trying to say is, do you guys make decisions based upon the bigger picture? In other words, I was telling Mary the other day. Mary owns 401k, has investments, and so on and so forth. And I guarantee you have stock in things that you probably wouldn't have stock in, like Tesla, for example. Okay, or like. Trump Tower, for example. I'm not sure that's a publicly traded company, but I'm saying
Dutch Bros.
You really touch.
Well, I don't mind having.
Okay.
I would buy stock because I give them money, so I might as well own stock.
But I mean, do you do that kind of research? Does it matter to you?
I feel like it really depends on the person at the end of the day, because so many people have different preferences. But for me personally, I do kind of like a bare minimum research, and then after that, it's like there's so much stuff to purchase already that I kind of don't have the mental capacity, to keep track of every single little thing that every company
That's a really
does.
honest answer. Yeah, because that's not an altruistic answer. Altruistic answer, yes, I really believe I'm not. But the truth is,
that's a lot of
how much time do we freaking have to research?
So much brain power goes to it.
I think a lot of advertising gives us too much credit because, for me personally, it comes in here and it comes out here almost immediately.
Well,
there's not a lot of.
Don't worry, your phone's listening.
Yeah, it's true. In fact, and before we go to the first page, I have to ask that: just because I don't know, and this is honest, is Amazon listening to me?
Everything's listening.
It is, right? Because if I talk about this, now I'm going to get some email or something that says,
You're going to get Dutch Bros coming in your feed.
You're going to get vegan food. You're going to get it all. And you're going to get a lot more of this, the Big Biz Show, right after this. Don't go anywhere. We continue live from the Lot 100 studios, Southern California. It is the Big Biz Show. Thanks to everybody for being along for the ride. That is the Day Trader Quattro. Back here at the bar, it's Costa. It is Maribel Godwin, and it is Sully. And we are brought to you by Prudential. Let Prudential be your rock for retirement. Also brought to you by Bayer Advanced. Better science, better results. Better not put on your Wheaties because it's the fertilizer, Mike. It's not the. I learned the hard way. Starbucks Coffee, Outback Steakhouse, and their fine family restaurants at Bloomin' Brands, as well as Taylor Guitars. Any big surprises among us? Not for you, but any big surprises for you two? I'm completely surprised. Well, I feel so much better because they'll be taking care of me when I'm, old and decrepit and stuff. And I like the fact that they all have their heads screwed on straight.
Yeah.
I do too.
We have another question about AI, I heard.
We do. Natalia would like to join the program. Natalia, what about AI? Should we be scared of it, or are you like, come on, it's the future?
Honestly, I do think it's the future. Recently, I've been trying to start a carpentry business with my dad, and I've actually learned this from Professor Dan about just like if you do garbage in, you'll get garbage out.
No.
And so with my prompts, I'm very specific about it.
Yes.
And so I actually today I typed in a bunch of stuff about carpentry, and it gave me a SWOT analysis and how to start. And maybe it might not tell me everything, but I at least know some how it's going, it gives me the margins and what I'm expecting for revenue and certain expenses too.
Do you remember being a sophomore in college when you were thinking about starting your carpentry business?
I remember being a sophomore in college.
No doubt.
Mary's got
Can you keep going with the conversation? Because I just had the same thing with the thing you sent me. It spits out some kind of general terms, and then I said, okay, that was nice in general. Now I need an actual specific.
Got to yell at it.
I did. I got a little with it.
Yeah.
Am I allowed to say that?
Imagine that.
Sorry. But do you do that then have a conversation?
Yeah, I actually don't know when to stop because every time I type something in, I'm more interested and more keeps popping up.
Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
Well, that's exactly the way to treat it, right? Like it's your thought partner, and you can push back on it.
Because
you were the person.
You said what?
I say please now because of you.
No. You were the
not
person.
in general, but to the AI.
Yeah, to AI.
But you were the person.
I was like, whoa.
Never us, but to AI.
Because remember when we used to go to University of Google and just type in anything you want to know about Google, and all of a sudden you knew you had pancreatic cancer or Parkinson's every time? And now I treat, because of you, this AI Perplexity Pro, because I'm addicted to Perplexity, as a person or as a partner.
Yeah.
As opposed to just this
Well, and
question.
I love that she talked about prompt engineering because it really is. It is your thought partner, and if you put junk in, you'll get junk out. But if you really, what are we learning in class, guys? What's the most important thing that I'm trying to teach you guys this year? What is that? Back there, Gianna. Decision making. And so thank you, Gianna. If you're focused on decision making, learning how to make decisions, which is the process of analyzing anything that happens in general business law, you are able to control GPT in a way that it gives you margins on your business that you're starting with your dad. And I love that.
Yeah. Well, the expectation model is something I never even thought about thinking.
Yeah,
like, what should my reasonable expectation be to XYZ versus how much money do carpenters make? Right? Yeah. It's a completely different product, right?
In California, with this particular product, with the wood that I'm using, with the sourcing I'm getting, and what's the market for it, and where am I going to sell it, and how am I going to sell it, and blah, blah, blah.
Are you talking like framing or finishing carpentry?
Because Mike's got a couple of jobs.
Exactly. I'll be your first customer.
So my dad's been in the carpentry field for like over 20 years, and so he's been at the shop he's working at for over 20 years, so they kept like ranking him up, so like supervisor, and so now he's like the manager. Yeah, and so now he's like running the whole shop, so I'm like, like maybe he can run the shop for me.
See, those darn kids. Those darn kids. I love that. You talk about decision making, which always brings me to a thing which for me, and I kid around and say there's no such thing as stupid questions, stupid people ask them, but paralysis by analysis is something that really, really scares me. How do you find that fine line, Dan, when there's a decision tree?
It's very interesting because this generation, we've talked about the study of this generation, and they really want to go deep. And so learning how to go wide and deep at the same time, and to be pragmatic and to ask questions, right? Look at all she had to realize, all the decisions she had to make to figure out, how could he work for me? Right? Like, that's a lot of stuff.
But look what the goal line was. It was fantastic. And when I say paralysis by analysis, I mean just thinking about it. I think it was so much you never actually make a decision, which is a different.
I think in the world we've really shaped this generation in a way where they're really looking for us to tell, especially in school, to tell them what we want from them instead of asking them to think. And we got to go back to the way it was when we were growing up, which is figure it out. And so that's what I at least. This business law 20203 is focused on.
And I was with someone last night that actually is they're a Hollywood production company, wants to borrow the studio for something, and we were talking about the whole figure it out model because nobody's taught me how to run a studio. Nobody taught me.
Well, I've seen your evolution over the years.
But they figured out.
Perplexity.
And when you say figured out, I embrace figuring it out.
Yeah.
Does that scare anybody having to figure it out on your own? Or do you guys embrace that?
So I had a question for professors specifically. So we all know that you love AI and you're big on it and personalizing. Could you walk us through a brief instruction of how you do that and what's your personal AI bot of choice?
Yeah. So my personal is ChatGPT just because it was my first. Okay, and we all know about our first.
This is not a stupid question. I got a question. Is there a difference between ChatGPT and Perplexity?
Well, Perplexity is completely different. It's actually a search tool, right, to go deep. You guys know that, right? Perplexity is just.
I just use Perplexity for everything.
Yeah. Well, actually. What you do is you do your research. I mean, ChatGPT now has an agentic function. If you go under it and you press agent, and you can do some deep research there, and it'll do that. But Perplexity is better than that. And then you put it in ChatGPT, which is the thought partner. And so that's my choice.
I'm done. I quit. I'm out of here.
I can use Perplexity. And what was the second part of the question?
What's your favorite bot?
How do I use it? So let me give you an example of yesterday. I was responding to a client's request to give me all of this data in a proposal, which was pretty much give me all your consulting ideas and do all the work before you even do the proposal. And so I had to spend 5 hours delicately deciding how I'm going to win the presentation and answer all those questions with just enough information to show them that I can do it generally.
Without giving it away.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
Amen. And so literally, I spent the first 3 hours going back and forth with draft after draft after draft. Then I talked to colleagues about it. I collaborated about it. I went back after they gave me my insight. I changed some things and had to develop each paragraph by itself to answer all of the questions from the client. So there's an example.
Dan Negroni for president. Boy, I'll tell you, 80 million homes strong worldwide. And look at this class from Cal State San Marcos. Thank you guys for coming in today. It's amazing stuff. Dan Negroni, author of the book Safety Relevant. Michael, take it out.
All right, that's going to do it for this edition of the Big Biz Show. For Dan Negroni and the whole class from Cal State University San Marcos Law 202-A.B. Thank you for being in studio. From all of us to all of you, we'll see you next time.